So we're talking about Snake Eyes, but coming soon, more ninja movie talk.
Snake Eyes really like powered up our ninja meter.
Yeah, like that was what was really refreshing about it. Like I didn't know anything about the movie, and I try to keep myself in the dark about these kind of movies, but I enjoyed all the previous G.I. Joe movies, and I have my own like personal connection with the series just from like working on Transformers versus G.I. Joe and the Snake Eyes character in particular. But I didn't know what to expect, and I was really like pleasantly surprised just how much like ninja, like it was like a classic ninja movie.
It was. We had mentioned even though it's a kind of like a summer blockbuster G.I. Joe movie, it felt grounded for all like the ninja play, like the close quarters combat, and like just seeing them running around. Like,
just looking at some of like the design of the movie, like the credits, like especially the end credits and stuff, they were going for an 80s thing, and it feels like an 80s action movie.
Yes.
It feels like an 80s ninja movie.
Yes.
And like there's like scenes in it that felt like Jim Cotta, like that we were just watching.
We're like, Snake Eyes is going to go meet Kurt Thomas at some point, or like it's the Village of the Crazies.
They like because like when you see like ninja stuff in movies now, it's usually like maybe they're like high tech ninjas, or there's some new wrinkle to it. But this was like just the classic straight down the middle,
back
like
to basics.
Yeah, a black ninja outfit.
Just seeing like there's the goons, like the clan, like just standing there, like oh my god, in formation, and doing their
kind of
training.
like in this like they had this like armor that like was like, oh, this is kind of like the Snake Eyes armor. Like they withhold the Snake Eyes armor, like you're not going to cover up Henry Golding's face until you absolutely have to. So it's like really not until like the very end of the movie that he like pulls on like the outfit,
absolutely,
as
like,
he's about to embark on part two, which we'll never get to see because apparently this movie was a bomb, like financially. But before we get too deep. This is the Total Recall show, the Snake Eyes episode. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, Fantastic Four Grand Design, and Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, starring Snake Eyes.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And check out my Patreon to see the comics that I'm currently working on. Go to patreon.com, search Tom Scioli, and read Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. And follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli.
Follow me on Instagram at cinema_tomb.
So Snake Eyes.
We were talking. You had mentioned they're not going to cover up Henry Golding's face, like the Moneymaker. There were some people who were like, "We got to give Ray Park the role." It's like you don't hire Ray Park for his acting chops. You hire him for his martial arts, and then his costume from the previous one, though cool, it looked like he was wearing like a muscle suit. Henry's outfit in this one looked better.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's just like it's just a different era and stuff. Like Ray Park's. Snake Eyes looked almost like CGI, like he was in effect, even though it was like a human being in a suit. Yeah, I mean, because Snake Eyes was a box office disappointment, and it looks like all these movies that are coming out are, just financially underperforming would be an understatement. And I mean, I've heard plenty of people talk about like we're not going back to those days pre-COVID where you could have like a blockbuster movie make like a ton of money just based on like people showing up at a theater. Like I keep hearing, like, even before these movies came out, I was hearing like that era is over. That's not coming back. So who knows? But this seems to this and Black Widow and stuff. It seems to indicate that we're in a different era. So so who knows how it would have done if it came. I'm thinking it probably would have flopped anyway, just because these G.I. Joe movies, they just don't have any luck. I think they're 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
I love
baby.
all of them, and again, they're not blowing blowing everybody away.
I was seeing so many negative reviews, and then some people were telling people
for Snake Eyes.
For Snake Eyes,
wow,
like people were like, "Don't go to see it." I'm like, I fucking had a blast.
Yeah,
and loved the hell out of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to see it no matter what, but
what are these other people seeing?
I didn't have any I figured it would be good, but I didn't have any crazy expectations. I did not expect it to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
Like it really, pulls you in. Some great action, some great sword play, some really like clever sword related gags
Yes.
in it, and like as like a fan of like the character and the property and all that kind of stuff, like it's not like Spider-Man or something where there's like certain things that have to happen in a Spider-Man origin kind of movie, but with this, it's like there never really other than Transformers versus G.I. Joe, there never was like a definitive origin story for Snake Eyes. So like I'm open to like whatever, you know. It's not like I have no expectations, and you know it was pretty cool. We got a lot of ninja action. The only thing that was really lacking was they didn't have the ninja throwing stars like that. That would have,
oh my gosh,
because it was so like fit perfectly right into like the ninja genre. You know,
well, Revenge of the Ninja. I think they really exhaust every weapon. You're gonna see
the blowgun.
Blowgun. You're gonna see a ninja flamethrower, smoke bomb. Like they pull out all the stops here.
Yeah, I see some kind of similarity. Some, you know, like I'm sure like when you're making a like a Snake Eyes movie where it's like, you know, ninja is like all part of the, you know, all part of the equation, and you're going to do your homework. You're going to research the ninja genre and try to pull in as much as you can.
There's a we had mentioned the ass kicking granny from Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
definitely. It feels like it's drawing on the ass kicking granny from Revenge of the Ninja. Mm-hmm. Even just like a tribute.
And in Snake Eyes, she like, you know, fought with her fan. Was that part of Revenge of the Ninja also?
I think in Revenge of the Ninja she has like a chain whip. I'm not sure, like so. And then we got
this is some G.I. Joe stuff right here.
We got the cannon stuntmen like risking life and limb here. Yeah. Incredible. And then you got Shoksugi like kicking ass. You're gonna see him get dragged behind a van, like him, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we got to do like a separate Revenge of the Ninja episode, because this is pretty great. Yeah, like that was like the G.I. Joe comics. It was like the right place, the right time. You know, really like capitalizing on the ninja craze and kind of being at the forefront of it, because that was like, you know, the G.I. Joe stuff. It's all army men, and then they start introducing, you know, this like ninja past to Snake Eyes. And you know, Storm Shadow, and then connecting the two, and then sort of letting that story unfold like as the series goes on, and the ninjas basically take over. Like it's almost like all the, you know, guys dressed in camo and stuff. It's just like it's just like a delivery system for the ninja stuff.
Like when I was in elementary school, I went to Walden Books, and that's kind of like one of the ninja points. I saw there was a book called Real Ultimate Power. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my god, there's a guy showing him how to like hide and like climb up a building and stuff.
Yeah, all this stuff it seemed achievable, like the sort of like ninja era. It was like, I mean, you know, like I bought, you know, different stuff. I mean, it was like I bought the ninja throwing stars that had suction cups on them.
I have those too.
You could like throw out your mirror and stuff.
And I had like fake nunchucks, like toy nunchucks.
Yeah, in Philly we called them nunchucks.
I think I called them I think I still call them nunchucks. Yeah. Hey, dude, can I borrow your nunchucks?
There was a guy named like who we called Numchuck. His name was Chuck, and he like would always talk about his nunchucks, so we called him Numchuck.
Some nunchucks for someone for Christmas within the last like 5 years. So I have purchased a pair of them.
As far as like a Snake Eyes movie, like it was like it kind of like it delivered as promised, because it was like it was, you know, I think the title's like Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe story, or a G.I. Joe origin story, or Snake Eyes Origin, a G.I. Joe story. So it like delivered that. It was like a Snake Eyes story, and then like a little bit of G.I. Joe stuff around the edges. You know, when Cobra, like, you're not sure how much of that stuff you're going to get. Mm-hmm. So when they're like doing all this investigating and stuff, and then you see like they open the box and it's got the Cobra logo on it. It's like,
you can't help but mark out. And then you got it was Scarlet and the Baroness were making their way through the movie too.
Yeah.
Exciting.
There was and Larry Hama makes an appearance. Walking down this alley. an amazing set. The alley that he walks down, like he walks down this alley, and then like this like amazing like old-fashioned, you know, ninja fight breaks out in this alley, and it has a little bit of like Blade Runner to it, a lot of neon. Like neon seemed to be like a motif in this movie.
It looked like a fighting stage from Eternal Champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like oh yeah, this looks like a really fun set to have a fight in, and then they had a really fun fight there. It didn't like go to waste.
Yeah,
you know?
And I love the guy that played. I can't remember his name. Storm Shadow. Great performance, but all the leads were great.
Yeah, he was really good. Everything down the line, like the way Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow become friends, and how Storm Shadow takes, basically takes him home. It's like, you know, he's coming home from college, and it's like, hey, Mom and Dad, here's my best friend, you know.
Yes!
My new best friend. You know.
He's like, we killed so many 30 packs. me and Storm Shadow.
Yeah, and like all that stuff's really good. And then there's like some twists where you know some like little surprises here and there, and like it's kind of like, you know, depending on how versed you are in this stuff. I mean, at the very least, if you've just seen the movies, maybe seen like the cartoon or whatever, it's like, you know, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are going to be enemies, like you know, and so it's like, how do we get there? Because they're like best friends. It's like, how do we get there? And it's like, and we know, like, you know, Storm Shadow is like the super nice guy in this, so it's like, how's he turn into the villain and stuff? So it's like, we're trying to see how we get there. And there's little, and also it's like, oh yeah, Snake Eyes is gonna get, you know, his face messed up at some point. So how, you know, how's that gonna happen? And you know, if I had like a complaint or whatever about this movie, is that they were so clearly planning this to be like a trilogy that like they didn't get to really any of that, like in any, like you know, when here's that the ass kicking granny, when
look
yeah
look a little seen her before somewhere.
And when like there's stuff like that, I wonder how much is intentional or what, but like one of like the famous like iconic things, you know, fights between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow is like the two of them fighting on like the top of like an elevated train, like a subway car, you know, going like up on the L train or whatever that we had in Philly. Those two fighting, and like there's a point in the movie where it's just a scene, and just in the background there's like an elevated train going by, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna be fighting there, and then they don't. So I don't know if that was just like a tease. They do have a, like, you know, pretty cool fight after that someplace else. And I also thought like, oh, this is where we're gonna see how Snake Eyes and Scarlet fall in love, because they kind of, you know, have this past together, like, you know, established in the comics and stuff. But again, it's a movie, so it's a new, you know, continuity or what, like it's not necessarily going to be that stuff. But like we didn't see, you know, Snake Eyes and Scarlet falling in love or anything. That's being saved for another installment. That is probably not going to happen, you know.
I can imagine on the set, Henry Golding, they're like, the director's like, save it for the third one, and he's like, what the? He's like, what? Save it for the second one. He's like, I'm sweating over here. Save it for the third one. It's definitely happening.
Right, we're already filming them back to back. They're all filmed.
Oh,
they're
my
just gonna have to like stay in the It's like we don't have enough money to edit parts 2 and 3 because it was such a financial disaster. Part 1.
They're like, we found the next 2 films on Zack Snyder's hard drive.
You know, like Hasbro needs their own streaming service, because it is like they need an outlet for this stuff, because it is a bummer, because, and I could imagine like for the filmmakers and the cast and crew, like thinking like, man, we hit a home run here, because it is like it's a home run, like it you know, it delivers, like you know, great, you know, popcorn movie, had so much fun watching it, and then it's like, yeah, no thanks, you know.
Somebody called it a rat turd.
Yeah, I mean, I disregard all that stuff, because it's like fun to like shit on a movie or what. Like, it's fun to kind of like say, to come up with, you know, clever little puns, or maybe not so clever, or, you know, and call something a rat turd. Like, it's fun to do that, but it's like, is it true? And it's like, you know, I beg to differ.
Yeah,
you know? It's fun to like beat up on stuff. And then all that like fun that everybody had, like shitting on something they didn't even see or whatever, then that becomes like the record for it. It's like, oh yeah, it's a piece of shit. All these people had all these very like witty or not so witty things to say about what a piece of shit it is. It's obvious, but you know, the internet has decided it's a piece of shit, and it's like, you know, that's just in the history.
We're getting it on the record here that it's
blast. Awesome. Yeah, like it's awesome. You know.
Henry Golding, what a great lead!
He was great in it. You know, you sort of follow him anywhere. Like you know, I'm ready for 2 more Snake Eyes movies. Yeah, like I guess when they do the low budget sequel, like or the micro budget sequel, because it was such a bomb. You know, they can bring back Ray Park. You know, like okay, like he's just in the
silent film.
Yeah, like because it you know, like Henry Golding, like he pulls away in the motorcycle wearing like the full Snake Eyes uniform. So then like part 2 starts, the motorcycle pulls up, he's in the snake, and he just never gets out. And
oh my god, I want Ray Park to be in the next Snake Eyes. And then the script comes along, and it's like, you got what you wish for, bud. Snake Eyes has to deliver 4 Shakespearean monologues in the next one. Woo!
Like they never explain how he got his face scarred. It's just like you never see him without his mask. Like from that point on, and so like it kind of has that thing happens with a lot of these movies where they're like, okay, we know we got a series on our hands here because. So we're going to like withhold the big moments for like, part 2 and part 3. And so you don't get the scarring of Snake Eyes, which again, maybe the movie Snake Eyes never gets scarred. Maybe he looks fine, maybe get that. And there was like a perfect moment for it in this movie. Like, are you thinking of the same one I am?
When he had the stone and was like attack, is that?
No, here's what I thought. Like Snake Eyes is looking for the guy who kills his father. And so then he finally finds him, and he has to decide whether or not to kill him. And I thought, oh, this is what's going to happen. Like, this is where it's going to happen. He's going to kill the guy when, like, maybe he should, spare him, according to, like, the morality that's sort of set up in the movie. He should spare this guy, but he kills him. And then, not too long after that, like, or as a result of that or whatever, his face ends up getting scarred. Like, that's his sin. And then the face scar is his punishment. Like it just felt in story terms. That's like because that's the time he could have spared the guy, but then he didn't. And then in some like maybe not even like directly, like a causal relationship within the logic of the story, but just that like that's this sort of like cosmic consequence, and that if he had spared him, his face would But again, it's like, and they also like didn't get into like a romance with Scarlett, and I guess it's kind of like, well. Maybe they decided, oh, we want to have a romance with Scarlett before he gets scarred so that we can have a scene where he's like, oh, I'm scarred now. Do you still love me? And then she's like, yes, I love you. Like that kind of stuff,
Once again, they're like, is there going to be a romance? He's like, happening in part 2, baby.
Yeah, it's a done deal. All this movie has to do is be successful. And then we start filming the next day.
I don't want it to end.
So we didn't get that. Like, when the movie ends, it's like, it's chock full. It's a lot of fun. It goes through like a full, and it's like, oh, okay, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Okay, we saw agreement. And then he's like, I'm going after Storm Shadow now. And it's like, wait a second, there's a whole other part to this movie. Like, I thought it was going to be like one of those like Dark Knight kind of things where it's like, whoa, there's a whole other like act to the movie, added on to the end that we weren't even expecting. And then he gets on his motorcycle, and then it's like, Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes will return in Snake Eyes Origins 2.
He like shoots at the screen.
Yeah.
But I was like praying that like, okay, the part 2 movie's gonna start next. It's like,
I mean, it's the classic like leave them wanting more. Like it did end like I was ready for the sequel. Like as soon as he pulled it, it's like, so that is it's.
Is there any way the Total Recall show can bump up the box office on this?
Yeah, come on. We just reached 1,000 subscribers. So if we can get all our subscribers to go to
this movie and get that second Snake Eyes,
or don't go. If your reasons for not going are because you're worried about your safety, don't go. But if you just didn't go because you heard it was a piece of shit, go, and then we'll put that Total Recall show 1,000 subscriber muscle behind it, and then maybe we will get a Snake Eyes. Well, that's the other thing. Like, it seems like a lot of the people who like shit on this stuff and then boycott it are like diehard, hardcore Snake Eye or like hardcore like G.I. Joe fans. So it's like, you know, it's not like if this movie bombs, it's not like, oh, now we're gonna get a Snake Eyes movie the way we want it. It's like, no, you're just not gonna get Snake Eyes movies anymore. So just if you're into G.I. Joe and into Snake Eyes, get behind this thing just so, you know, because otherwise the party's over.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you're...
you got to be true to your school.
Stay true to your school and like... it's like, I'm going to take my Snake Eyes and go home.
Yeah, so it just means like, okay, you're going to have to wait another 10... Because like, maybe this one wasn't to your taste or whatever, but... You know, you want as many at-bats as possible.
Oh my god. Tom, with the second G.I. Joe movie, when did that even come out? Was that like... That was over a decade ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. And from what I heard, it did well, you know. But like, I guess none of these things are like the big box office blowout that they need to be. I mean, I've enjoyed this series from day one. I like, you know, the Transformers movies, which are kind of like the sibling, you know, to these G.I. Joe movies, were like... so bad and were such massive hits and kept coming and coming, where I thought the first G.I. Joe movie was like a home run, and it's like
it's like a silent CGI Volkswagen Beetle has more charisma than Mark Wahlberg. It's like, I'm not getting upstaged by this robot.
You know, for like Snake Eyes fans and G.I. Joe fans and comics fans and stuff, like it has Blind Master, it has Hard Master, and then it doesn't have Soft Master, but I feel like the grandmother was kind of like a substitute for Soft Master. She kind of had like the Soft Master look, and she kind of fulfilled that kind of role as sort of like because Soft Master kind of had like a grandfatherly, you know, gentle, you know, sort of like cherubic energy like in the comics. So like, you know, grandma kind of, you know, had that going on. So I feel like she, like, you know, she was sort of like played like the Soft Master role, or maybe they're saving Soft Master for you've seen Hard Master, you've seen Blind Master, get ready for Soft Master. Yeah, and he is kind of like a Yoda character in the G.I. Joe series, so it would make sense that he'd be in the Empire Strikes Back of the Snake Eyes trilogy.
They're like, it's like, hey, I'm not in... They're like, how do they know my nickname for the movie?
Okay, which one of you bitches has been talking about what goes on in the bedroom? Because it's nobody's business.
It's nobody's business, all right? Somebody's
snitching.
Stitches get stitches, all right?
And like Larry Hama in sort of like the like ninja craze that like G.I. Joe brought on. Like, it was super cool seeing him in the movie, and it was super cool seeing him get acknowledged, like, because you know, he really is like, you know, this like genius and this like very important, you know, creative person who like created so much of this like great stuff like from our childhood. And it's cool seeing him get his due. And like, there was like the whole ninja craze, and you had like the ninja movies, and you had like Frank Miller's Daredevil with all the ninja stuff, and then like a little after that, you know, all the ninja stuff starts showing up in G.I. Joe. But like Larry Hama was like one of the like one of the pioneers of ninjas in comics. Like, he created the first, you know, ninja in an American comic book in I think it was in like in an issue of Iron Fist. Like, he drew the Iron Fist comic for a while in the 70s, and he introduced like a ninja whose name was Ninja. Like,
that's
that was
amazing. Because like in the 80s, like growing up in the 80s, like, I don't remember a time where ninja were like, it's like, what do you mean you don't know what a ninja is? Mm-hmm. And it's like, then I was watching like this Chuck Norris movie, The Octagon, where they had to be like, he's like, these are ninja. Let me explain to you what they are. It's like, no, you don't have to do that.
Get ninja, right? Yeah, but yeah, there was a time when you had to explain ninja, and that's kind of like, you know, in this comic that Larry Hama did, where it's like,
that's before he was.
Yeah,
like,
this is the 70s. Yeah, so he's like, Yes, and so you had to call the ninja, and like giving the ninja like the name ninja, it's kind of like pretty cool. It's like if you get there early enough, you get the naming right. So it's like this guy gets to be ninja.
That's
and then everybody else has to come up with some. Everybody else is a ninja, but this guy is ninja. And like for Larry Hama, like so we're pulling in like. We're seeing ninja from like Chuck Norris and the Karate Commandos or something. Like we're seeing ninja from G.I.JOE. We're seeing it from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like that's where we're experiencing ninja.
In our DNA.
Yeah, but like, like Larry Hama bringing it in the 70s is like he's bringing in ninja from like old movies that are maybe like playing on TV. Maybe like you're in LA and you're picking up. Like a Japanese channel or something. So he's bringing it in from movies. He's bringing it in from maybe like Lone Wolf and Cub, like untranslated Lone Wolf and Cub comics that you'd be able to get your hands on, back in the 70s. So like that's pretty historic, to begin with.
In the Octagon, Chuck Norris has this like running like internal monologue in it, and when the ninja killed these people in this house, and he comes in and he's like, ninja. It's like an echo. He's like, it has to be ninja.
In Snake Eyes, you do get to see a lot of the kind of ninja stuff you're looking for, like a lot of like climbing on roofs and like opening up like ceilings, sliding open the ceiling and like pulling yourself in, and stealth and also it's like this is like a very grounded G.I. Joe movie, like just because of what it is in the milieu. It's like it is kind of like a classic action movie. It's like an 80s action movie, but then because it's G.I. Joe, you got to have a couple fantastical elements. So they do and a little bit of like flamboyant elements here and there. Like I thought it was like just like a really good like just the way everything came together was really nice.
It was awesome, and like what wasn't it just like hitting like those your sweet spot? Just seeing them like going through the forest and like just running around, like
the setting like and it looked like it was filmed in I forget the name of it, but it's like the Imperial Residence in Tokyo. There's like there's like where it's like the old like it would have been like where the Shogun lived in like the Edo period or whatever, and it's like kind of like preserved like within Tokyo. Like I've seen it like I've never been to Tokyo. I've always wanted to go there, but I've been on like Google Earth and kind of like walk the streets on Google Earth, and you can you can't get too far into that like the Imperial Residence, but you can kind of like skirt the edges of it in Google Earth.
I'm like on Google Earth. I'm like, oh my god, there's the Village of the Crazies. The Google mobile must have gone by. Like, there's Kurt Thomas still capturing. He's like,
there's the pommel horse. the brick pommel horse.
That's the one he said that they built the village around the pommel horse.
Yeah,
love the his head, the Storm Shadow's head of security. There was a Chekhov's moment, like she had these like metal things in her hair, and I was like, when she's in a tight spot or something, she's definitely gonna pull them out and like use them as weapons.
Yeah, I was trying to catch like her name and stuff because I was like, okay, is that like an established G.I. Joe character? Because like just trying to figure out the reference. Like, is that like Spiral or there's like a
I think it's Kiko.
Okay, there's like a character in G.I. Joe who I don't know that she's a ninja necessarily, but she's like dressed all in red and has like a gi and like a ninja mask kind of thing. So I was like, is that her? Like, but I don't know her name off the top. And I
what's
definitely
on the second one.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's the other. So it's like we don't. So again, like there's all these like the movie works as a movie. It really does. But again, if you're coming in there waiting for like, oh, there's that, like, there's never a point where like Snake Eyes gets his iconic tattoo of the sort of Arashikage, the lines. And the one that Storm Shadow has the same tattoo of. There's never a scene of that. Now, of course, that hasn't been established in the movies at all. Either. Like that's just from the comics. But to me, that's such like a big thing in the comics. Like. That they both have this tattoo, and like I know so many guys who got that tattoo.
I was just about to say, like couldn't remember what it was like called. I didn't know it was called that. Like, but I saw like there was a guy doing like talking about G.I. Joe vehicles or something. I was watching. I was like, God, he's got Snake Eyes tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah,
I was like, that's the first time I saw somebody with that.
Well, after I did the Transformers versus G.I. Joe comic, like, you wouldn't believe how many people like came up to me at comic conventions and were like, you know, like showing me their Snake Eyes tattoo, and so. You know, and maybe if you check like the YouTube videos of these guys who are saying, "Oh, it's a dog turd. This movie sucks," they probably aren't saying all that with their Snake Eyes tattoo. But yeah, like the Snake Eyes tattoo didn't show up. It hasn't been established in the movies. In the movies, Snake Eyes symbol isn't tattooed on his arm as far as we know. Like we haven't seen it, but he does wear it. Like he has it up here imprinted.
I thought it was weird in the movie, though, when he was getting changed. It was on the small of his back.
Yeah, he had and it was like sideways.
Sideways. I was like, huh, I thought I spied that.
There was like maybe like one or two moments. There was like a ring. Like it was very subtle. Like because that symbol is like so famous, like within G.I. Joe fandom, and like is just brings a smile. It's like the bat symbol, to G.I. Joe people, and so like. I thought they would have deployed that a little more in the movie because I know like the audience would have gone nuts. Now the audience being us, because when we went to see the movie, there were two people in the theater, and it was us.
Yeah,
we were the two people, and I thought there was one more person.
I did too. It was a mannequin
in the back. I thought there was somebody in the back, but then when we were leaving, I turned around and I saw like it was actually just like a mark on the. It was just like a smear or something on the wall that I thought was somebody else in the movie. So it really was just us.
It was like a bomb blast. There was like a silhouette of someone on the wall,
and this audience of two would have like gone nuts if like they had done some like cool stuff. They don't. There's like. One of the characters has like a ring with that symbol on it.
Yeah,
like falls on the floor or whatever, and you see it.
There's a close up of it.
Yeah, there's a close up, and then like that symbol shows up like one other place, like all like in black in the movie. But there's never like this like red, and if they had that scene where he's in the chair and they got the tattoo needle and they're going and just like like watching this thing form.
Yeah, then it zooms out, it's on his ass.
And then it's like, you're like you kind of stop mid cheer.
I'm like, yeah. The camera keeps zooming. I'm like, what?
No. Or if like one of the characters is like they're having a sword fight, they're like swinging the swords around, and then they stop for a moment, and you see like in blood. He's cut the symbol like is in blood.
That's a great one. You might have to like.
So, let's delete that, and I'll save that for when I come back to Transformers versus when I do Transformers versus G.I. Joe 2.
That's a good. That's fucking dope.
You like that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this. So it turns out it wasn't a tattoo. It was just scabs.
He's like draws a permanent marker around. He's like, "This is my next tattoo."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, the tattoo. Wait, it's TMI. It shows his butt.
Yeah.
They're like, Henry, do you want a butt double for this scene?
I mean, so I don't know if part 2 was gonna be like, what was gonna happen, but it had enough of sort of like the settings and stuff of the of like the Snake Eyes origin that I know from the comics. Like, I thought maybe Zartan was going to show up because he figures into Snake Eyes' origin. Again, I thought, maybe we're going to see some, like, gasoline splashed on his face, or maybe somebody, cut him in the face with a sword or something.
Zartan on that, his little, like, swamp rider, it's like Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, New Orleans. Port of Call, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then Zartan, like, comes up on his, like, little, like, green, like, machine, like Nick Cage. It's like Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, Port of Call, New Orleans.
I
would see that in 2 seconds.
Nicolas Cage belongs in a G.I. Joe movie. Like,
yeah, really. That seems like something he's just into on his own.
Right? Yeah, like that. He probably has all the toys and stuff like that. We're talking for the Black Widow episode about. We were talking about David Harbour and about his Architectural Digest, and you see like the Masters of the Universe poster.
His huge
poster. Like, he's got to be like campaigning for like bring back Masters of the Universe and put me. I'll be Beast Man. I'll be Skeletor. I'll be He-Man. I'll be Man at Arms. Yeah, like he's angling for that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the. Like,
and I saw like there was like a quote like when he did the Hellboy movie, he was like comparing it to like the Masters of the Universe movie and stuff.
Makes me love David Harbour even more. It's like,
as we're here discussing the Snake Eyes movie, we have Revenge of the Ninja playing over here just to kind of get us in the mood. And just watching this, I'm like, maybe the Snake Eyes movie did suck, because this movie looks so amazing, and there wasn't like a fraction of the kind of crazy stuff in Snake Eyes that's going on in here. So maybe all the people who think the Snake Eyes movie sucked probably like just came out of a showing of Revenge of Ninja, because like just watch this movie and take a bunch of notes and then make your ninja movie. You know,
this is like, I consider Revenge of the Ninja the definitive ninja movie.
Yeah, I mean it's given you all the hits. Like, why wasn't there a scene where Snake Eyes did this? Why wasn't there? And yeah, so I mean, makers of Snake Eyes, shame on you
for not making
and
Revenge of the Ninja.
You know that the technology that like and the budget that the makers of Snake Eyes have access to compared to what you know, the Golan and Globus
out of the handle of his sword, Tom. It just keeps getting better, but like,
too good.
Look at these goons; they're in the wrong.
You know, the Snake Eyes movie has the scene also that's kind of common in like these G.I. Joe stories, where like the G.I. Joes and the Cobras have to like team up for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
like, which I'm not a fan of. And in Transformers versus G.I. Joe, like in like the old G.I. Joe Transformers crossover that came out in the 80s, G.I. Joe and Cobra joined forces in that. And I didn't like that. I don't like that. So I made sure when I made mine that G.I. Joe and Cobra don't join forces. I understand why you do it, because it's like, you know, like the fans want to see it. It's like kind of cool to see Dr. Mindbender, you know, back to back with, you know, General Hawk or whatever. But I think it trivializes the genuine conflict between these parties. And I feel like as much fun as it was in the Snake Eyes movie, I felt like it kind of, you know, had the same effect.
Yeah, like in Transformers versus G.I. Joe, I loved when each side teamed up with the Transformers, but I love when they joined in this direction, not like,
you want exactly you want the Decepticons and Cobra to team up, and you want G.I. Joe and the Autobots to team up. But yeah, you don't want Cobra and G.I. Joe to team up. Like, having Cobra and the Autobots team up would kind of make sense because they don't know each other yet. But like, it's like you're kind of you know, again, like in the Snake Eyes movie, the reason he spares the life of the guy who killed his father is he finds out that the guy who killed his father was just acting under orders from Cobra. So he's like, okay, you're not even my enemy. You're just a flunky. My enemy is Cobra. And then in the next scene, he's like fighting side by side with the Baroness. You know,
I loved it. The fans of the Total Recall show need to get out in force to.
Yeah, I want to see what happens next. And of course, like maybe we're playing into their hands, because it's like maybe they should have delivered these things that we want and not, you know, saved it for the next one, because they're just trying to like get, you know, they're trying to double dip or triple dip.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, you know, we buy our ticket, give us the whole Snake Eyes story, and you know, F you if you're trying to like, you know, string it out. But like, I'm fine with that. Like, I want to see part 2. I want to see part 3. I want to see him get his tattoo or whatever. I want to see, you know, I want to see him get his face blown off.
Yes.
I want to see, you know, the silent issue. I want to see, you know, I want to see like Scarlet come like rescue him on a hang glider in a tower, and you know, and him and Storm Shadow have a little you know, tete-a-tete. I want to see them on the top of a subway train, like a graffitied up 80s New York subway train. I want to see the two of them sword fighting on top of that. I want to see all the hits.
I want to see all the hits, and what it's like. What's the problem with them getting so many at bats? Let's let them keep making it, but people, that's like.
Yeah, I mean, the fans just aren't behind them, and maybe it's too tough a sell. Like, there's some properties that like people take with them into adulthood, and then some where you just sort of leave it behind and like, oh, that's kid stuff. And I feel like another one is like Power Rangers.
Yes,
Like I love Power Rangers, and I really, really, really love Two Ranger. You know, the Japanese version of Power Rangers. I love that, and it's just like people aren't able to take, for whatever reason, they can't take Power Rangers with them into adulthood. They leave it in childhood, and then a new generation is into it, and so we, you know, the grown up Power Rangers movie flops. You know, it's a big washout. And then maybe G.I. Joe is one of those properties too. They keep trying to put G.I. Joe over to an adult audience, but it's like, you know, people just don't, you know, I don't see it. I think, you know, a G.I. Joe for grown-ups has a lot of potential. And that was like, you know, Transformers versus G.I. Joe. That was me doing like a G.I. Joe and a Transformers for grown-ups. Like I see it, I get it, I understand it, but maybe like the cinema-going audience doesn't. You've been watching the Snake Eyes episode of the Total Recall Show. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And you can check out the comics I'm working on over at patreon.com. Just search Tom Scioli. And in fact, after watching Snake Eyes, it made me want to do a ninja comic. So coming soon to my Patreon is Ninja Handbook, a ninja comic I'm working on. So, you know, come check that out.
You can follow me on Instagram at cinema_tomb.
Okay, we'll see you next time. We'll see you at the movies at Snake Eyes 2 in hell, because it's never coming out. we're gonna get the Snake Eyes reboot. In 30 years before we get Snake Eyes 2, unless it does booming business when it goes on to like Netflix or if it becomes like the top. But I don't know. You're letting us down, you G.I. Joe fans. You're letting us down.
I'm like, this is a giant rat turd, and I pull my shirt. I have a full like chest piece of Snake Eyes.
You know, like Tarantino said how, like, you know, he'd never do a superhero movie. Like he'd create his own superhero or whatever. But he's not doing The Flash or whatever, because he's like, fuck the fans. The fans. Like, you don't tell me what my movie's going to be. I tell you what my movie's going to. So, and it's like, it's true. It's like you're just going to keep driving like really good people away from this property that you love if you're going to be such a baby about it.
If somebody was like,
that's the ninja stuff. Is like, there's so much like trickery and like you know, fake outs, and like in like just the ninja, you know, milieu, the ninja legend. And like more of that would have been great. And like Revenge of Ninja has it. Like, yeah, the dummy that he puts in, the guy cuts in half. Like you want all the it's
not over yet, Tom.